Another holiday season coming up, which means the inevitable holiday launch bundle. Look at you, all festive, and that sports team sucks.
It sucks. Yeah. It's terrible.
Hey guys, welcome to their Lords of War Games and Hobbies video. I'm Chris, this is Jay, and we're going to talk about the Black Friday, I guess, in North America. It's still weird to me that Black Friday is a Canadian holiday too now. We just absorbed it.
Really a holiday. It's just
holiday.
It's no one gets any days off or whatever.
No. It's just when we trample people.
We had our fake
TV.
Thanksgiving already or whatever. This is a sidetrack. I was on a trip once, and another like tourist part of a group, whatever, like asked me legitimately. They're like, "Why do you have Thanksgiving?" They're like, "What? We don't like," because in their mind they're like, "It's about our fathers and this," and I was like. I'm like, why do you care?
Well, yeah. It somehow reduces their Thanksgiving. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And I was like, I looked at them. I'm like, it's kind of the same reasons. I don't know.
It's a harvest holiday.
It's a harvest holiday.
That's all it is. It's a generic harvest holiday.
Yeah. Anyway.
We have a harvest too.
We do.
Oh man! So every year around this time we get the Christmas launch, holiday launch bundles,
sales,
boxes,
deals,
or whatever. Deals.
Sales.
And this year, they've gone. It's been trending this way. They've gone like the range has really shrunk down a lot, actually. Like because
you mean how many different ones?
Offerings there are? Yeah, because
Sure.
I remember a time when there was like 10 or 12 40K boxes. It was crazy.
It was, yeah. There was before the pandemic. There was a couple of years where it was like here's. Like 8 AOS ones and 12 40K. It was a little nuts.
You're like, okay, good luck finding space for that.
Yeah.
Your tiny shop.
Yeah. And the last few years has been a little more targeted, and I haven't really been able to figure out the rhyme or reason, whether it's like, we have too many of this and not enough of that, or if it's some sort of... I kind of wish they were a bit more transparent at the thought process that goes into it. Sometimes you have to like do a bit of investigating. You're like, this seems like this complements a box they made 2 years ago, and if you bought both, now you have everything. Like,
sometimes, like at least it used to be this way that like they were kind of like repackagings of like the year before's offerings. So it's like that army came out the year before. Now at the next Christmas, it's going to be the Christmas box or whatever. There used to be a little bit of that, but even like this year, it didn't really feel like that with the choices. Some of them were a bit of head scratchers.
Resolve the pattern, but
like there's a Dark Angel one this year, but not like for the first time ever, not like a generic Space Marine one.
That's right.
Because Space Marines are hot right now.
The Dark Angel one seems purely to be, and it worked because we ordered more of that one than the other one. Seems to be we can't sell enough of these. It's so hot, and Dark Angels had a launch box last year this time of year, which blew away. Then their launch was phenomenal, and you had all the stuff for that. You couldn't get enough of it. And the Lionel Johnson fiasco where they only released like 3 or whatever.
Remember he came in the special box first?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then and that was 9th ed. And then this 10th ed release is just, it's all been just fantastic. So they're quadruple dipping on that. And it will probably do fine. Because their Dark Angels are, I don't know if they historically have always, they're definitely probably the most popular chapter ever. Maybe even though the Ultramarines are on the box, maybe they should change that. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. And then the other ones, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I mean, the Astro Militarum one, I'm assuming maybe is a bit of like a prequel because they have. I think they're getting a battle
There's
codex.
No Astro Militarum one.
Yes, there is.
No,
isn't there?
No, there's Sisters.
Oh, Sisters.
Tau.
I thought there was Astro. Please hold.
I don't know. I don't think so. I know there's a Cities of Sigmar.
Someone's yelling at us through the video right now.
They're like, ah!
One of you is right, the other one is wrong. This. There's an Astro Militarum provisionally. We asked for 2 copies.
Oh no, that's the
is that what it is?
That's the halfling guy.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. Never mind. I'm it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry, folks.
It's all right. He's cool though.
He's very cool.
The little what are they called?
Rattlings.
Yeah. Because there's a kill team coming too.
Yeah.
Really sweet.
Sorry. So anyway, so never mind. Scrap that. Just ignore the last 2 minutes there. That was
continuity error.
Sorry,
so like you've got Tau,
Necrons, Sisters, Necrons, Imperial Knights. for 40K, and then Cities, Flesh Eater Quartz, Iron Jaws,
Agatkin.
and Maggotkin for AOS. Yeah, so yeah, some of these are like the Dark Angel one seems to be the most like cohesive one, and I suppose the Cities one is as well. A lot of the other ones are feel kind of like, let's just,
here's a bunch of cool things in a box, I guess. That's
like,
sort of like
and it might work. Like,
yeah.
I looked at the Tau and I was like,
oh man,
I do like everything in here, even though it doesn't look like an army. It's literally like one of each suit in every size. So you have like a Riptide, a Ghost Kill.
Well, our buddy at GW,
a commander, and
our buddy at GW was commenting. They almost look like wish lists.
They look like a wish list.
Yeah,
these are the 4 most asked things. Let's put them in a box.
Yeah,
and
like,
it's hard to argue.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, the one thing that's interesting about this, so they've started to we talked about, they started to shrink down the product offering. There's not as many choices as there was before. We've also seen the cost of the stuff inside go up quite a bit over the last few years.
Sure.
And that has pushed the price of the boxes up. So there was a time, not even 10 years ago, when these were maybe $200, I think.
Yeah. I feel like there's been a historical rubber band, though, because I do also remember $200 to $300 boxes in like 2002 or 3 or 4, whenever.
Yeah,
let's say 2004. That's when I worked there. I remember, like, yeah, and yes, those boxes were larger and technically had more stuff in them, but then you also got to look at like that price in $2004 versus $2024. So a $300 any $300 product in that time.
That'd be like $500
It was like
now,
$500-$600 now, right? So it's like, it's a bit nutty. But yeah, it does feel like you're getting less. I mean,
I think the savings is the same.
More or less. They're still in the 30% range of savings.
But they've just moved the needle up on the cost. So like you're paying like $290 or whatever it is now.
And is that going to stop people from just grabbing them?
I think it's shown that yes. I think that's kind of shown to be the case. But I think Games Workshop knows that, and I do think they've actually made less of these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they also kind of offer these things throughout the year now, because you have like,
they do.
What do you call it? Ages of Imperium basically got 3 different ones.
Yep.
Chaos Marine's got 2 different ones. Sisters had one. G-Circles had one.
That's a good point, actually. They are kind of just like sprinkling that throughout the year now.
Yeah. They've been doing these like army launch bundles every codex essentially,
and some of those stick. Like they have like the stickability. They kind of stick around on your shelf for a little longer than you'd like.
So like, had one, yeah.
So hobby shops are going to have some of those kicking around. It's funny now. The hobby shops have like a couple of the old like launch boxes for armies that didn't do as well. Like I think we still have a Krut one left. We've got a couple of the Agents Imperium ones still sticking around. There's some boxes that kind of linger for a little longer. So there's usually a little collection of like the old ones that didn't hit as hard. So it's kind of nice that they're not adding like 50 billion of these to the wall, because some of them do stick around for a while too. Yeah, but it definitely the raw excitement about it is diminished. You're just not going to have like, I mean, I don't know, because you've been here a few days since they announced it, like, because the way our schedules are, but I was kind of like, I don't think I've had anyone being like, yo, make sure I get that one. Normally that, in years past, especially the generic Space Marine one, you'd already have, like, the second a fuzzy image hit the internet, you'd have people. Well, I remember even last year, because they had a turned in a Space Marine one, we had a list going like right away.
People were like, yo, we gotta make sure I
this
get it.
year, like you said, I think I have maybe one person that said something so far.
Yeah.
So, and that's maybe a greater conversation, is like, all these videos kind of end up here in the same place, which is like, are people getting burned out on the $300 box sets? Is the wallet attrition real, right? And I think you can make a case for both sides. You could say like, yes, generally speaking, people are like, how many $300 boxes did you buy this year?
Yeah.
I think we got Skaven Tides.
Yep.
We each got a Skaven Tide. I think that's it. I don't think I bought any other of the big sets personally. Because like we were talking about in our last video, it's not the money necessarily all the time. It's the, oh my God, when am I going to find time for
When
this?
am I going to consume this thing?
So even if it's a great deal and you want it, like Hivestorm, I'm like, man, I really like to get that. Just to have the table painted up, and like I like the Militarm guys. And I'm like, I can't see it fitting into my time thing right now, so I just don't do it. I just don't do it right now. You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also a factor that's not talked about maybe as much as the price, because price always gets thrown out right away as like, oh yeah, there's too many expensive products.
Yeah, and I always find that one to be the most, like, you have to be on one hand, because you don't want to like belittle people again, be like, you know, if it's like something like, oh, it's just too much for them to afford, literally, but also like, but then I'm like, yeah, but you don't need to buy this because it's not food or whatever. And the second thing is, don't lie to me, like like it's always like,
have you thought about selling your kidney you don't
use? Like it's always the, like, because it's in the hobby demographic, in the hobby sector of consumption. That's like, this is people that consume the hobby, consume it with their expendable, like the money they have, the extra money they have. So they were going to turn around in $300 or $500. Like, how often someone, you know, be like, you know, it's the person that'll tell me that they bought like a $40,000 boat, and then they have a $40,000 truck, and then their hobby's fishing or something, and then they'll be like, oh, this paint's $10, and you're like, man, come on, like,
yeah, really
like,
it is funny where we choose to be. It is funny sometimes where we choose to be cheap.
So
or whatever,
I just, but anyway, with the Warhammer, with the 300 other boxes or whatever, I some customers, you have different camps. You do have customers that are like, I've met these people that are like very, they see it as like a Costco thing. They're like, no, I might as well buy it in bulk. Like, I'm gonna want all this stuff anyway, and I save money this way, and I try and frame it to people that way. I'm like, you know, if rather than buying a box every month, if you buy the army deals, you will kind of like end up with like saving money, I guess. And Games Workshop will use that in their defense of it, to be like, you know, we don't do sales, but we offer these bundles. That save money, right? So
and we've noticed this. There are like a certain number of clients that only really consume Warhammer that way.
Yeah,
they just kind of buy the next. They'll buy, like, you know, the big Hivestorm box. They'll buy the Skaven Tide set. They'll buy, you know, whatever the big like Warcry or Kill Team boxes are. Because I think it's like, it's kind of neat. I think it's actually kind of a cool hobby where you're just like, you're looking for like a big experience, but you're also getting a lot of value. And if you just generically like the miniatures and you like the universes, you're not super fixated on like, oh, I want to start this army next. It's more just like, I want to do some cool stuff. And this seems like a great deal. I'm just going to get this and do it. And just kind of like waiting for the next big exciting thing each time.
Yep. And again, we mentioned it, this theme of the week or whatever is also like, you know, they keep making these and they do sell. Like, people are buying them. So until we reach, and we'll see about the launch box thing.
The launch box is a bit of
we'll see what happens in the next 2 to 3 years, in 24 months, when they start, like, when they hit a few new additions, whenever the next 40K ad or whatever. I think the next 40K will still have it'll be 350. They'll push it a few more bucks, and they'll give you Space Marines and I don't know what this time, maybe Orcs again or something. Like,
jeez,
that would do pretty well, actually.
Of course it would. It's got Space Marines in it.
They'll call it what's like, was Armageddon? No, what was like Space Marines versus Orcs? There was something.
Black Reach.
Yeah.
Assault on Black Reach.
But is there like a 40K like event or Space Marine? Anyway, they'll name it after something like that.
Armageddon.
Right?
Yeah.
Or was that?
We're going back to Armageddon.
Yeah. So they'll do that. But I'm curious in the other games if they're going to still, like, I could foresee, you know, a future Kill Team or future AOS, like them calming that down back to, I think I could see
I actually don't think there's a problem with the formula. They just need to vastly reduce the amount.
Just reduce it, make it actually scarce.
Yeah,
that's fair.
With their games that aren't selling as well as 40K. I think 40K, like Print to the Moon, doesn't seem to matter.
No.
Like Leviathan did linger for a longer time than ever before. Asking for it, though. But it's now, you know, only a year and a half after it came out. It's like a $500 box. Like, it's gone up in price. So, because it's kind of bonkers, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I get people coming in and they're like, do you have Leviathan? And I'm like,
oh,
that's
man.
cute.
You're 18 months late, buddy.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Yeah. Luckily with those sets, the starter sets that follow up are actually pretty darn good still.
Yeah.
So
sure.
you're not really missing out too much.
You're not missing a ton, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you think? Do you think next holiday season we're gonna see just like kind of the same thing, but maybe like $320 boxes, or what? Like, where do you see this going? Do you have any thoughts?
You know what? I think whether it's like this is the funny thing about these bundle boxes is I think you can kind of do whatever because they've done other insane things. They've done like Space Marine Company in a box for $700 or whatever it was. And I think they sold a bunch of those. So
Yeah.
It's like so long as the cost savings is big and they jam a lot of cool stuff in it, I think people will be like,
and don't make too many. I think that's the
and don't make too many.
Don't make too many.
Yeah, I think this is a realm they can move the slider around a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They can make it bigger. They can make it smaller. Actually, the product I wish they brought back, which they probably won't, is the transport with the squad in it.
Oh, those were cool. I like those.
Where you got like 5 Dire Avengers and a Falcon or something.
Those were awesome.
For like, I don't know what the equivalent today would be. It'd probably be $110 or something or whatever. Yeah. Those were cool. I like those. But anytime they bundle anything, to be honest, whether it's a Combat Patrol, a launch box, a big box, I never really lose a lot of sleep over it. It's only tough with the launch boxes because there is a bit of like, it's like a big new edition or release, and then the store owners have to make this like impossible choice.
Yeah.
Of how many to get because of this and that. But I kind of wish, because during the pandemic we had a year or two worth of where GW just said they capped everything, and they were just like, look, we're only giving everyone 2 of these, and for some things it was kind of good. Some things is awful because obviously,
yeah, for sure.
For like because we do sell a lot of specialist products here, so like them telling me I can only get 2 of something that I know I can sell 10 of is like really rough or whatever. Yeah. But if it was like, giant bundle boxes, I'm like, that's fine. Then everyone gets some, and then that also means that there isn't a million of them out there. Like, I don't know. It just makes it. It means you need some urgency. I know people are gonna flame us for that, but you need some to like keep things moving, So
yeah, if you're gonna do a lot of these, I think that's the key thing, right? If you're gonna do big boxes all the time, I think there needs to be a scarcity element to them. Yeah. Otherwise, like and this is just us complaining from our position.
Correct.
Like I think it's no matter what, I think it's great for the consumer.
Yes.
Because you kind of win no matter what happens.
You win no matter what.
You have all these choices you get to pick between. This is funny when people like complete tangent, but when people complain that like, oh, there's too many things coming out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like, I'm like, this like, man, when I was a kid, that'd been amazing, Yeah, I get it's frustrating that you're like, I like that and I like that and I like that and I like that and I can't do it all. It's like, okay, yes, first world problems, man.
Yeah.
You have so many choices. It's so great.
Yeah.
So I think that's the wrong response to have is like to get upset or whatever. But the expectation isn't that you buy everything. It's that you now get a choice to buy what you actually want and relate to or whatever.
Yeah. 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 Well,
we'll see. I mean, we'll probably do a post-Christmas update on like just the business and how the holiday season went, and we'll throw the holiday box sets in there and talk about those. And my feeling is that like, unless you as a store you went like bonkers on them and got like 17 Maggotkin sets, you're probably gonna do fine with them because like I even had a Soulblight Gravelords one from last year on the shelf still like a couple months ago. And it's just kind of nice to have because, like, the next customer that comes in that starts that army, you're showing them that first because you're like, look, this is still around. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you want all these units? Yes, you should buy this. And
it tends to do okay.
So
as long as you don't saddle yourself too ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, funny enough, there'll be a meta item that's in there. People are like, oh, I really just need that, but I guess it's a deal. It's like, they age pretty well sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that for sure. Well, there goes the phone. We better get going.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.